Hi there, welcome to Pitchside. We are definitely still in Nairobi trying to catch up on a lot of things, but most importantly trying to inquire how ready Kenya is ahead of two major tournaments they are going to co-host alongside Uganda and Tanzania. Those are the CHAN tournament coming up in August and AFCON 2027. Now, so many people involved in trying to make sure that Kenya is ready are doing everything possible to have that in place. In Kenya specifically, I have to tell you that there is a lot to catch up on if the time comes, and you're definitely going to pass by and watch some games, especially in CHAN. We are doing our best to talk to so many people involved in Kenyan football. I have the privilege of talking to Mr. David Kwalimwa, who is right here in camera. He's definitely been in the sports circles for a minute, but most importantly, he's a communications expert. David, really excited to have you on Pitchside. And how are you? How's it going, sir?
Asante sana for having me, Peter, and karibu Nairobi.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Karibu sana. I was avoiding using a Swahili word, but looks like that won't happen. So karibu it is. How is Nairobi, David, and how are things going?
So far so good. We cannot complain. Keeping up with the grind, hoping for the best and putting the best foot forward, and also just to appreciate the good work you're doing. I've been following your work and your channels.
Yep.
I think you're really putting in a hard shift. Keep it up, man.
Thank you very much, sir. Yep. We keep grinding. So David, I've in my intro I talked about how Kenya is trying to make sure they are ready for AFCON 2027 and CHAN, which is coming up in August. As someone who's been here, born and bred in Nairobi, what would you tell people out there? How ready are Nairobians ahead of CHAN?
Cautious excitement. Third time lucky for Kenya. Remember 1994, Kenya being awarded the Africa Cup of Nations hosting rights, did not host the tournament. Fast forward to 2018, Kenya handed again the rights for the Africa Nations Championship tournament, did not host the tournament. This time, definitely, Peter, CHAN is coming to Kenya alongside Uganda and Tanzania, and it promises to be a spectacle because the government is pulling out all stops to ensure this tournament is a success. The two main venues that are going to be hosting this tournament are under extensive renovations. I'm talking about the Nyayo National Stadium and Moi International Sports Center Kasarani, both in Nairobi, and extensive renovation, closed for a while, looking good. Things are looking very up. And then on the pitch, of course, a new coach in town, Benny McCarthy, the South African, bringing a brand of exciting football. So when you put all this into one pot, Peter, there is no other way other than hope and believe that Kenya is going to be one of the best hosts, alongside the Uganda and Tanzania, of course, of the African Nations Championship in a few months' time.
All right, that's quite exciting. One thing for sure, apart from the football on the pitch that people will be looking forward to, is maybe some tourist attractions, David. I know for sure that Nairobi is one of those spots that has quite a number of things that will get people excited, especially after the games are done or before games are done. What are some of those things that you can highlight that are going to excite so many people when they come to watch some CHAN in Nairobi?
First and foremost, of course, the nightlife. Nairobi known for its nightlife. Remember, it's a hub.
Not better than Uganda, though.
That's questionable, but that's good enough. If Uganda and Nairobi, if Kampala and Nairobi are both bringing in the nightlife, that's good enough. But the nightlife is the first thing, and really a call upon people and visitors coming to Nairobi to sample ahead of CHAN, because of course this is a city that never sleeps, man. And considering most of the visitors coming into Nairobi for the tournament to watch the games are going to be youthful, then the nightlife is something to sample. Again, please note, Peter, and this is very important, that Nairobi is the only city in the world with a national park within it. So even as you have time to go watch football, watch Nigeria against Kenya, watch Gabon, Morocco play Kenya at Kasarani or at Nyayo Stadium, you can spare some time, go and reconnect with nature, sample the wildlife, sample the wild beasts, the elephants, the buffaloes, the lions, the cheetahs, in a national park within the city center. It doesn't come better than that. So those are the two main areas that I'll really urge visitors coming to Kenya to watch CHAN to really find time and come and sample, alongside the exquisite and exciting football that you expect to witness.
All right, I'll be one of those guys.
Please,
that will
karibu.
pass by the Nairobi park and enjoy some of those amenities that David Kwalima has mentioned. Now, David, me and you know it's important across the continent to have easy access to stadiums on match days, and probably paint for us a picture of how accessible some of these stadiums are. You've talked about Nyayo and Kasarani being in the CBD. How easy can people access the stadiums on match days, and how do they go back home or to their respective destinations after the game?
Thankfully, both of these stadiums are easily accessible. Kasarani Stadium, which is about 25, the Nyayo National Stadium, which is about 25,000 seater, is just a walking distance from the Nairobi Central Business District. So it's almost cost free for those who will be residing almost or next to the Central Business District along Nairobi West. It's fairly accessible. There is the Nairobi Expressway, of course. You can get to drive on top of the stadium and get into the stadium to watch the game. So that's one of the best things that will happen. Kasarani Stadium is about 12 kilometers from the city center, but no hassle. The linkage to the stadium has a 12-lane highway. Yes, you heard me right, Peter. 12 lanes. So you can really cruise to Kasarani, a road with 12 lanes, no bumps. Just get into Kasarani in like 5 to 10 minutes from the Central Business District. You are at Kasarani. You are at the 60,000 seater arena to get to sample the game. So for all of those that are wishing to get to Kasarani and Nyayo to watch the games, no hassle.
That is definitely going to be very, very exciting. David, the government of the Republic of Kenya has heavily invested in trying to make sure these facilities are ready, and trying to make sure that the fans love the experience and get to support the Harambee Stars. How has the public received the support that government has put in sports today to make sure that these facilities are available? Are they appreciating it? Are they saying it's taking too long? What are the people saying on the ground?
Of course, cautious optimism, cautious excitement, but there is this feeling in the background of a new dawn, a new era. President William Ruto has really put his best foot forward to try and ensure that Kenya is back on the soccer map, or on the football map rather. Remember, Kenya is a giant sporting nation. We all know about athletics, rugby, volleyball, and the international exploits of cricket back in the day. But coming right now into football, Kenya really struggling, especially after the 1990s when AFC Leopards and Gor Mahia really dominated on the continental front. Remember, Gor Mahia remains the only club from Eastern Central Africa to win a continental title back in 1987. Of course, Simba are in the final of the Confederation Cup, so they could just match that. But the national team has really struggled to impress in recent times. But the investment coming in from the government and President William Ruto's administration, you have to say that there are every ingredient in place, and we are hoping for success. There is support. Of course, the Talanta Stadium is under construction, a brand new 60,000 arena, also in Nairobi, easily accessible. And then the renovations at Nyayo and Kasarani, and then the training grounds at the police circle, at the Kasarani Annex Arena, at the Nyayo Stadium. There's a lot of optimism that maybe, just maybe, this is the time for the infrastructure to be in place and for the talents to come up and use this infrastructure to ensure that we catapult Kenya to the next level.
You talked about the Talanta Sports Stadium, and guys, we are headed there right now. That's why we're in this car. I'm pretty sure we'll have one or two words to say when we reach that venue. But David, how huge is this for Kenyan sports? The fact that the Kenyan government is setting up a 60,000 seater stadium at the speed at which it's being built, it's just crazy.
Man, 40 billion Kenya shillings being sunk into the project, about 400 million US dollars. This is the first major stadium to be constructed in Kenya since 1987, when Kasarani, of course, was constructed by the Chinese in a bid to host the All African Games at the time. So this is going to be something very big. Whispers that the stadium could probably even host the opening or closing games of the Africa Cup of Nations in 2017. No chance it's going to be ready for CHAN, but definitely for the Africa Cup of Nations. This is going to be one of the best stadiums in Africa to showcase football talents, and I definitely can't wait to sample it when it's ready and when matches are being played at the arena.
David, you've said so much about Kenya.
Yes.
We have Tanzania and Uganda. Let's start with Uganda. How impressed are you with what is going on at Nambole and all the other facilities being prepared for CHAN and AFCON as well?
I have to let you know that I am really impressed by Uganda. I've seen what has happened at the Mandela Stadium. I've seen at Nachivuba as well. World-class sporting facilities have come up. I think there's another stadium being built in northern Uganda.
Kibua, then there's Hoima.
Kibua and Hoima Stadium are being put up. I really think the Ugandan government is not here to play. They have really tried their best, and everything is looking very good. I like the cocktail of Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania coming up, holding hands to come up with this event. That is a no-brainer. It's a good one. It's a good idea, and kudos to whoever came up with that idea, or whoever sat down to construct such ideas, because I can imagine with the linkages between Kampala, Dar es Salaam, and Nairobi, I can imagine having breakfast in Kampala, lunch in Nairobi, dinner in Dar es Salaam, and the clash of cultures from these venues, the Katogo in Uganda, the Ugali in Nairobi. There's a lot that visitors coming to East Africa. And remember, these are some of the most visited countries in Africa. Kenya and Tanzania, to be precise, are among the most visited countries. So when you put all this together, you cannot fail to imagine how exciting those who are coming to these three countries will be to eventually sample the culture, the venues, and of course whatever comes up with that.
We'll definitely be bringing you more of this information. David, it's been a pleasure having you on Pitchside. Thank you for that insightful information. And yeah, I urge all of you people who are watching this video to check out Pitchside with Tabu Peter on YouTube, subscribe, and spread the love. That's all I can say. Keep it Pitchside. Cheers. We continue our coverage of trying to check up on some of the stadiums here in Kenya ahead of two major tournaments, like we've been saying, CHAN coming up in August and AFCON 2027. Right now, specifically, right behind us is one of Kenya's biggest projects right now, the Talanta Stadium, 60,000 seater capacity that is being set up right now. As you can see, everything is going on well. People are working around the clock to make sure that this stadium is ready for AFCON 2027. Really exciting, man. Sprawling out pretty well.
Muyahe.
Yes, Sebo.
Happy to see you, man.
Happy to see you.
Welcome to Nairobi.
Thank you for joining me
You're
again.
doing good, man.
Yeah.
Good branding, good stuff. Bowling, flying into Nairobi.
Thank you.
I'm really impressed. Keep it up, man.
Thank you very much,
Keep
David.
it up.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And I appreciate that you're looking out for me, and you're definitely giving me those props. Yeah, Pitchside, we have to keep pushing and doing the things right.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah, but David, behind us is a mega structure that is being set up. We've been talking about Talanta in the car, but here we are. I'm really impressed with this kind of setup. Massive setup that is happening here in Talanta. First of all, where are we? In Nairobi City. And where's the stadium located?
This stadium is located alongside Ngong Road, along Ngong Road rather. It's about 5 kilometers from the city center. But there's a bypass here. You can bypass town if you're coming in from Mombasa and going directly to towards Uganda. So it's along Ngong Road, which is a middle higher residential area. And I agree with you, this is quite some project coming in from the Kenyan government. 40 billion Kenya shillings, Peter, is going to be sunk here at the end of it all, which is about $400 million US. Now that is quite some investment. 3,000 employees coming in every day here to work, put in a shift and leave in the evening. So as you can see, the government of Kenya is pulling all stops to ensure the country is ready to host the Africa Cup of Nations tournament in 2027.
And David, what is impressing me the most is it's not only the stadium that I'm looking at. Guys, we are standing at one of the training venues at Talanta that is going to be used as a training venue for AFCON 2027. And the ones that I've already seen, at Kasarani, this is equally going to be a very good setup. For the direction and what the Kenyan government is trying to do, you want to think that it's the right thing to do. But David, for the development of Kenyan sports, how huge is this that apart from the other stadiums that are available, you also have Talanta coming up?
Peter, this is big. Firstly, you have to go back to 1987. I'm not sure you were born then. 1987, that's the last time the government of Kenya put up a structure just about this size, and that was the Moi International Sports Center in Kasarani, and it was put up in readiness for the 1987 All-African Games. You remember they were hosted in Kenya at the time. So that is the last time a structure of this magnitude was put up, and it just shows a little bit or more of commitment from President William Ruto's administration. Remember, President William Ruto is just 2 years into office, and this is one of the projects that he's coming up with. So it shows his commitment towards nurturing sports in Kenya. Well, 60,000 seats, no child's play. When this is done, if you see the artistic impressions of this stadium, when it's done, it's going to look quite something with the flag of Kenya about it and the modern look to it. Of course, the contractor is Chinese, and Chinese don't quite play in conjunction with the Kenya Defense Forces. So everything is looking quite well. The President of the Republic of Kenya, to just show commitment, Peter, comes here almost once every 2 or 3 months to just do the inspection of the facility, try and look at what is happening, give an update to the stadium, to the public. The Minister for Sports, again, Salim Mvurya, almost occasionally coming up here to see what's happening and ensure that the stadium is just about ready within the required deadlines.
David, one of the things that I wanted you to really break down briefly is we've seen countries where such investments are ongoing and the people concerned have not given 100%.
Yep.
How has the Kenyan government ensured that, you know, Kasarani is trying to be on schedule, Talanta is up and going, Nyayo is also on schedule? What is the efficiency? Why do we have a lot of efficiency in these sports facilities, if I could ask it that way?
Two things. One, it just shows the government, the new government, President William Ruto's government's commitment to nurturing sports in the country. And two, there had to be some guarantees to the Confederation of African Football, of course, who are the tournament organizers for the African Nation Championships that Kenya will co-host against alongside Uganda and Tanzania, as well as the African Cup of Nations in 2027, which again Kenya will co-host against alongside Uganda and Tanzania. Excuse me there. So those guarantees to CAF that these facilities are going to be ready and on time. CAF President Patrice Motsepe has been here a couple of times. He's come here personally to see what's happening, to supervise what's going on, and he's been on record severally saying the government of Kenya has really done its best to ensure that this is coming up. So those are two of the main things I can tell you that shows that everything is on spot. The commitment to CAF and the commitment to nurture sports talents in Kenya. Remember, Kenya is a sporting nation, and this infrastructure is really needed for the many talents in Kenya to be able to nurture the talents and make money out of the talents that they have.
All right, there are so many Kenyans out there. Some love football, some have to be convinced to love football. What are some of the things that government is working around to make sure that they actually encourage the more Kenyans to actually support Kenyan projects, especially sports and also national teams, especially football, to have those stadiums full and to have people love the sport and to be positive about Kenyan football, basically?
Number one, there's been a rallying cry from the government to all potential sponsors and advertisers to invest in the sports. As far as having tax rebates, companies have been told in Kenya that if you put money in sports in terms of sponsorships and partnerships, you will be able to get a tax rebate off it. So you won't pay tax and also support sport. That is very big to companies. And also the rallying cry coming from as high up as the President of the Republic of Kenya, Peter. It just shows that the President telling sponsors, telling the public, we need to support sports. Sports is played by the youth. Sports is competed by the youth. The youth are the guys between the ages of 17 and 35. If these people are employed, are able to make money from the sports, you can imagine the ecosystem around that, how many people can be supported from that, and also how many people make money from the sports. The referees, the coaches, the instructors, the match commissioners, the person coming to sell groundnuts in the stadium, to sell water, the security person. There's a lot that can happen alongside sports. If you can see in developed economies such as England, it's a multi-billion-dollar game. So this is what the country and the top leadership of this country is trying to sensitize the public and every stakeholder involved to ensure that you put in all efforts to ensure that football grows. We've seen that in other sports such as athletics, where somebody wins a marathon and earns about $500,000. If that kind of investment can be put into Kenyan sports and Ugandan sports and Tanzanian sports, you can imagine how far we can be able to fly.
That would be so far. Yeah. As we conclude this interview, David Kwalimwa, just be very, very fair and honest.
You mean I've not been fair and honest?
No, this is going to call for your honesty.
Okay, let me hear it.
The opening game of CHAN 2025. You have 3 stadiums: Benjamin Mkapa, you have Mandela National Stadium, and Kasarani Moi Sports Complex. Where do you put that one?
Peter, first, it's very important and imperative to note that it's not a competition between Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. It's a co-hosting venture. We are coming together. It's a unity of purpose. I don't think, for example, there are countries that Kenya is close to other than Tanzania and Uganda, apart from just being neighbors. We speak the same language, we eat the same food, we rely on each other for business and very many other things. So whichever country gets to host the opening or closing or semi-final games, to me, it's not quite the deal. But there have been signs. Of course, the draw for the Confederation of African, the CAF draw for this tournament was held in Nairobi earlier this year. Probably that could be an indicator, but I insist, Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, Kampala, whichever of these three magnificent cities can be able to eventually and effectively, successfully host any of the matches, and nobody will be able to complain. But that's not even the catch. The catch is with the interconnectivity between these two cities, Peter, or these three cities.
Yes.
You can have katogo in Kampala in the morning, ugali in Nairobi at lunch,
and nyama and supu.
Ugali, nyama, supu, and mboga
in Dar es Salaam.
In Uganda, and then you go and have chapati and boiled beef, very good boiled beef in Dar es Salaam in the evening, because everything is possible. Hopefully by that time we'll have a railway connecting these three cities, because there's a standard gauge railway in Tanzania, there's a standard gauge railway in Kenya. Uganda is just starting to construct one. Of course, the air, you have three airlines serving these three cities: Uganda Airlines, Kenya Airways, Tanzania Airlines, Air Tanzania. So there's nothing stopping anybody from sampling these three countries, and wherever the hosting of the opening or closing matches will be held. I hope I've been honest enough.
You've been honest enough. You're really East African. You're not Kenyan. All right, David, thank you so much. David has really done a tremendous job to make sure that we catch up on everything that we need to do. Guys, we've been to 3 stadiums today. Nyayo Stadium, Kasarani, and signing out here from Talanta Sports Center. First of all, allow me to appreciate everyone that catches up on the pitchside content, shares it, and comments about it. But also, most importantly, shout outs to 3T Sports Center. If you're out there and you need quality sportswear, please pass by Bokoto Street, check out 3T Sports Center, and get yourself football boots, muscle tights, stocks, anything, man, anything sports.
My size is there?
Yeah, your size is there.
Can I send a shout out to some ladies in Kampala?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, my wife is watching.
Guys, keep it pitchside and cheers, man. Hey, from Nairobi, Kenya, much love.